the meaning of life. Hello and welcome to IGN's News, Games, and More. I'm Brian Altano. With me, Casey DeFreitas, Seth Macy, and Mark Medina. NG Plus is our daily live news show where we talk about all things video games, pop culture, all the breaking news of the day. And wonderfully, today was like sort of like a weird small E3, or it feels like this whole week has just been jam-packed with stuff. Thank you all so much for joining us, to my wonderful co-host today. How are you all feeling, all things considered?
I'm good, Brian. Nobody else said anything, so I'll start.
Great.
I feel great. Today was a good day. I'm a big Call of Duty fan, and that was the smallest news of the day. So today's a great day.
All right.
Okay, so let's get right into it.
Sorry.
No, you go for it.
It's just me and Brian here today. It's just me and Brian.
Us two. Yeah, no, it's fine. Hi. Casey, how are you? It's been at least 20 minutes since I've done a show with you, and I'm just checking in.
Yeah, I'm doing better than I was 20 minutes ago. So there's that.
See, look at that. Seth,
Things
how about
you?
Are you better or worse than you were 20 minutes ago?
Than I was 20 minutes ago? I am always striving to be better than I was 20 minutes ago. So that's the goal.
You got to hit a ceiling at some point, though, right? I mean, it's like you can't just
always be better. That's not how it works.
Anyway,
you gotta be worse.
Speaking of ceilings, we got our first next gen prize for the Xbox Series X. This is the bold new console from Microsoft, the top of the line, most powerful console on Earth. Also, was I believe the biggest console on Earth until the PS5 was announced. As you all know, if you've been watching this, unless you live in a cave, and if you do, then I don't know, you're probably having a better year than the rest of us. There has been a game of chicken happening all year long between Sony and Microsoft of announcing the next-gen console prices. Over the weekend, on Monday evening specifically, somebody leaked out the price and name and look of the Series S, forcing Microsoft's hand to reveal it at 3:00 in the morning Seattle time. We've been talking about that all week, but they also said that it would be out on November 10th, but they surprisingly didn't say anything about the Series X, which gave us about a couple of hours of wondering, are they going to have different release dates? That's crazy. What's it going to be costing? And so they announced that this morning. They said November 10th, $499 for the Series X, $299 for the Series S. Obviously, some differences there, specifically in resolution is the biggest difference. The other, obviously, is the size. This is the smallest Xbox ever made versus, I believe, the biggest Xbox ever made.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if that's true because the first Xbox was effing gigantic. We'll see. Casey, let's start with you. What was your initial thought on this price for $500 after a full year of speculating what it would be?
I mean, 500 was pretty much what I assumed it would be. It's what I think a lot of people assumed. It was in all of our speculation graphics that IGN has been putting up on social media. I don't think it came as much of a surprise. The Series S, however, for $300, I did not expect. I mean, that is significantly lower, $300. Like, that's not too shabby. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But I was really happy to see that. I'm kind of curious to see how it will actually play next gen games, especially when it gets later on in the system's life, because it's so please correct my technical information if you need to, but from what I understand, it upscales to 4K, so it's not native 4K. It can't do the 8K that the Xbox Series X can do. Right?
Mm-hmm. It's 1440p at 120 FPS, which
it's
great.
It's full of cream, apparently.
Just a note from producer Destin. It doesn't do 8K. I don't know if I misheard you. It does 4K.
No, she said it doesn't do 8K. But here's the secret. I don't think either of the full size consoles do either, but they're capable of it.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah, and also, what is 8K? Does anyone know? Has anyone ever seen it? Does anyone have a TV that
I don't know where
I
got that number. I just pulled it out of the air, and I apologize. But I'm more interested, honestly, in the price, but also the payment plans that Xbox offered, because I was completely unaware that Xbox was doing this. They actually were doing this for the Xbox One as well, where you, for a nominal number a month, so $35 a month for the X or $25 a month for the S, you not only get the console with no money down, but you also get the Game Pass Ultimate, which gives you access to all of the Game Pass games on your Xbox console and on your PC. And later on this year, we'll talk about that later. But that's an incredible value. I mean,
Yep.
And it's the thing about this is that like pretty much just anybody can sign up for it, and it's super easy to get to be a part of, right, Seth? Like that's just,
it's not
actually.
No,
yeah,
it's,
so let's get into this, because this is basically you are getting into a microcosmic credit card Ponzi scheme a little bit, but that's the American dream, right? It's to spend money that you don't have on stuff you can't afford that you don't really need.
That's pretty much
that's
the
why we live
of
here,
my
baby.
entire career. But the deal is if you qualify for the 0% APR, and I've actually been on some Twitter discussions, civil Twitter discussions about
Let's get really nerdy in here, guys.
Because I was looking at the fine print on the loan agreement, and it read to me that 0% is only on approved credit. Whereas if you don't have, you're not going to get a 0% interest rate unless you have immaculate credit. And it's kind of a weird catch-22, because if you have immaculate credit, you're not going to put $300 on a payment plan. But anyway, people are telling me now that it's an all or none. If you don't qualify, you just don't get it. They don't give you a different APR. They will just be like, sorry, you're out of luck. You'll have to go down to Rent-A-Center and buy it, where it'll end up costing you like $800.
$800, yeah.
Yeah, I know people who've bought Xbox 360s that cost $700.
That is worth pointing out, because that is a big scheme against the poor in America, is the rent to own or just rent scheme, where people who cannot afford a $600 couch all at once end up paying $900 for it in increments. And that is, there are a lot of people that live paycheck to paycheck, and I think their eyes kind of lit up when they saw the prices here. But it is worth noting that not everybody will qualify for it. That said, I wonder if there's room for I wonder if there's any workarounds for this. Basically, like, is there room for like a third party to step in and help you out in a way that isn't ridiculously intrusive on your credit score or financials? That's where I find things interesting.
I know a guy. His name is Father Time, and if you give him $25 a month, after a few months, you'll have the money to buy the Xbox without having to put in for a credit application. By the way, if you miss a payment, it's $27 late fee for the first time. If you miss the second payment, it's $38. So you basically doubled the payment for the Xbox Series X if you miss one payment, which is, I think, what they're counting on to make their money, is that you miss a payment or two here and there.
They also shoot one Battletoad directly in the head.
Which one? Rash, pimple, or zits?
Depending on how many months in a row you miss.
I do have other questions about this. So from what I can tell, so because they were doing this with Xbox One, it's a Citizen One line of credit, but it's a soft credit check, so that won't affect your credit. But then does it count as a new line of credit on your credit report? I'm sorry we're getting into financials, but that's important to know, because then it's
wild.
It will make your total line of credits younger, which is bad for your credit. The younger your credit lines of credit are, the worse your credit score is, and that is not worth $300 to me.
Dude,
Young Craig was my favorite 90s rapper.
Do you want to do like a video game finance podcast?
So anyways, I actually think $500 isn't that bad for the console.
It's not.
No, the past two Xbox Ones released both at $500. I was actually very surprised to see the Series X launching at $500.
Yeah,
I think that's super reasonable for what that thing packs in, which is only honestly a few years after Xbox One X came out. It's over double as powerful, and the Xbox One X is discontinued now, but I think it ended its kind of like sale at $350. So to be able to get a Series S for $300 is like really, really cool.
Yeah. I totally agree.
No, these are great prices. I might pick up I might pick up the Series S. Like I wasn't planning on getting an Xbox this fall, but that $300 price tag.
I predicted this. You can go to my Twitter timeline. I predicted the Lockhart would be $299. They called me crazy, but I said, look, if they get a $299 console in there for the holiday season, people who aren't like us, who don't follow gaming, who are just like, oh, there's a new Xbox out. What? It's $300. That's the one they're gonna pick. Like Sony tomorrow can be like, hey, it's $499, and people are gonna be like, yeah, but this is $299 one. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know.
It's as much as a Switch. I mean, that's crazy.
I know, and it plays at games at 1440p, 120 frames per second. Well, they claim that.
I tweeted that the Series S kind of enters this weird like impulse buy territory. Not to say that people should be impulse buying with $300.
No,
but I went to the store with the producer that's in our head right now and a couple other people from IGN, and I had no intention of buying a Nintendo Switch at launch. But then while I was in line, the hype builds up, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll just buy one. That's really not something you can do with $500, but at $300, I'm exactly like Casey. I really didn't intend on getting a Series X this year because of PlayStation 5. But just to have a $300 like Game Pass machine and the eventual segue to EA Play machine, like that's actually a really good price.
Yeah,
right. And I need to point something out. If you are watching the show or you're watching this entire next gen conversation happen from afar, and you, like millions of people, haven't had a phenomenal year financially because it's been really tough, feel free to sit this out. None of this is necessary. You don't need any of this. Like that's
all the games will work on the Xbox that you already have.
All the games work on your old systems. 90% of them, except for, Miles Morales, will work on your old systems. And not only that, people who buy consoles on day one, and I know this because I always do this and I'm part of this, are suckers. And we're also guinea pigs to work out kinks and problems and huge, deal-breaking errors that invariably arise every single time new hardware launches and things break. So keep that in mind. Take your sweet time. Play your millions of old games, and don't feel bad because this is nonsense.
Weird. The thing that's weird about the Series S is if you own an Xbox One X, those specs are pretty similar. And seeing as there's no absolute reason to get the Series line yet, if you own an Xbox One X, I strongly urge you to not upgrade to a Series S. Yeah. If you're going to go up to an X, fine. But don't trade in your One X for a Series S. I really don't see the point of that right now.
What if you have a regular Xbox One?
Get rid of it. Get a Series X. Go hard or go home, Casey.
So real quick, I want to touch on what Seth was talking about before with the financing. Okay. So Citizens One has a pretty good rating on the Better Business Bureau website.
Okay.
They require a minimum credit score of fair. Fair is 580 to 669, which is pretty low for a FICO credit score.
But how many teraflops is that?
Well, actually, if you want to actually do a stat breakdown about this console versus the Series X, there is actually a difference in the teraflops that the smaller console can handle, but the CPU is the same. Did you guys touch on that maybe yesterday?
No, I was just making a goof.
Oh. Yeah, I think this one's, Seth, this one's like 4 teraflops, right? And the main one's 12 or something like that. Yeah.
I can bring up the
but anyway,
they have the same CPU.
You brought up a really interesting point, so I just wanted to chime in about the credit score stuff because that is important for people to consider during the holiday season.
Yes.
And
it is.
Do you know if that would count as a new line of credit, or would it be something different? Because, for example, there are companies like Afterpay that you can get like $100 purchase of random stuff you don't need, like skincare, and you can pay down the $100.
So let's talk after the show.
We can talk about it. But Afterpay lets you pay it 0% without affecting your credit score at all.
Yeah, you guys are just bringing up absolutely excellent points that I think we should dive into more. Maybe not on a live program, but maybe this sounds like a good IGN article.
Well, the financial implications.
I emailed Microsoft before the show because I was like, I gotta get to the bottom of this. I'm not gonna be wrong on Twitter, and I'm probably going to be wrong on Twitter, which is the worst place to be wrong, other than on a live show.
That's true. Well, look out for our official review of Capital One soon on IGN.com. I will say that Capital One does make a good like baby's first credit card, but they will email you 4 times a day until you're dead. So just keep that in mind. They will stalk you endlessly like a psychotic ex. So just a heads up on that. So one thing we haven't really talked a ton about is PlayStation now. Obviously, ball is in their court, or Microsoft blinked first. Other bad metaphors. Where do you think they land on this? Do they have to come in at $4.99? Can they come in higher and still get away with it for what seems? Yes.
Yes. Last week,
really?
Last week, I think I said that PlayStation was so far ahead they could have come out and said $6.99 and people would have bought it. Now they can't do that anymore. That window has closed. But PlayStation 5 is still like so far ahead in people's mind shares and what people are excited about. They could come. I think honestly, PlayStation 5 could be like, we're $599, and everyone will be like, yeah, cool, man. That's what I was expecting. So.
With PlayStation 5, I tweeted about this morning. I really thought they were going to go today. Look at my background. That is a PS5 reveal trailer background. I was ready to feel the hype, and they didn't say a damn word. So that sucks.
I felt today too, man. I felt the same way today. We actually like I did NVC with Casey, our weekly Nintendo show, but I was on deck to jump ship and do an emergency episode of Beyond if news broke. And it just
I'm really glad you did it, Brian.
Yeah, me too. I had a blast with you guys, so it was great.
But yeah, I really thought the console was going to get a price today, and I really think they do have to go soon. The Xbox was in a weird spot where a lot of people were like, well, what's the point? And then I've heard nothing about the Series S except for like how amazing it is and people want to be able to get it. And it's like, every like second that goes by, there's more and more mind share. I mean, people want to pre-order something. I'm telling you, it is getting to that point where people have money and they are ready to pre-order a console. And if Xbox goes live on the 22nd and PS4 hasn't said a damn word, they're going to spend their money on the Xbox.
Yeah, to give you an idea of how excited people are to pre-order that. I don't know if you guys remember a few weeks ago when there was a rumor that the PlayStation was going to just like surprise pre-order. I think it was in like August. And so we put up here's what you need to know about pre-order, because they started putting up information pages. Amazon put up an information page. We sent more referrals to Amazon just to say, here's where you can sign up than we did last year on Black Friday.
Whoa.
So that tells you how excited people are for PlayStation 5. Even though we made it clear, there's nothing there, just a page you can enter your email address. And people are like, well, then let them have my email address.
What about compared to Super Mario 3D All-Stars?
Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a force in and of itself. That is exceeding everyone's expectations. I know that I am going to get that pin set, by God. That's for a different show.
Also, this is a super incredibly small sampling, but out of the 35 friends that I regularly game with, I put up a poll after we found out the price for the Series S, and it's still 85% of them will be getting the PS5 within the first year. 14% will get the PS5 at launch, and only 14% will be getting the Xbox Series S at launch. But if it wasn't 300, no one would in my group of friends would be getting an Xbox at all. Yeah, which is crazy.
That is crazy. Also, I love how you polled your friends. So
I don't know. I want to know if what is worth getting at what point, because if no one is getting any of those systems at launch, then I won't be peer pressured to get them at launch either. Circle.
No, that makes perfect sense. So obviously there is the PS5 right there. That is the weird one with the disc. The other one doesn't have it, and I'm stupid enough that I almost want to get the one without a disc drive. Just because it looks a little bit more sleek. I don't like that baby bump it has. It's just like
it does look more sleek. The thing that's weird about PS5 right now is we're about to have 4 consoles come out. We have the Series S, X, PS5 discless, and PS5 just the regular one. And so you kind of expect that the PS5 is going to launch at $500. Why not? Just to compete directly with the Series X. But have they really talked about, is the disc-less version, is that the only difference? Because the Series S is weaker.
Right.
Where if the PS5 if there are 2 identical consoles, but one just doesn't have a disc drive, I'm curious to see what the price is going to be there. You can't imagine it would be much
$50,
much less.
Yeah. I mean,
50 to 100,
100 feels you could buy like you go on Newegg, buy a disk drive for $8. Like it's like why is it,
I know
why would it be?
that's what's weird about it is you think a disk drive costs literally nothing. So like where are you saving the money there? But at the same time, why would they release two consoles $50 difference? I don't understand why they would.
No, I think it'll be.
So the PS5 with the disk drive is also backwards compatible with the PS4 disc, maybe?
Is it?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows that.
It's backwards compatible with PS4, so the discs aren't going to work on the diskless drive. So she does have a point there, just by simple logic.
Right. I will say one thing that was really interesting today was that Ubisoft announced that Assassin's Creed Valhalla was coming day and date for the Xbox Series X and S. And if you buy the Xbox One versions or the One S, damn it, you will get an automatic upgrade for free, which is really cool. You know, there's a lot of sort of good cop, bad cop stuff happening with the way people are figuring out how to transition from current gen to next gen. Some are giving you free upgrades. Some are making you pay a small fee like $10. And others are making you rebuy the game outright, like Remedy did with Control. Speaking of Remedy, Remedy also said that one of their top people tweeted about how excited it was for the Series S, but that it also made him a little nervous because it's just like one more thing to deal with. So I do think that parity of figuring out how to design games for all these platforms is going to be pretty interesting down the line. But the interesting thing about Microsoft coming out and saying, here's our release date, is that they aligned with Ubisoft. They now have the mind share of that basically being a launch game for them. Sony has a limited number of days in November that aren't Election Day or, now the Series X release date or Friday the 13th. There's some bad days in November. And then there's Black Friday, right? And so we'll see see where they land on all that.
I mean, they can go a week after the Series X and literally launch on Cyberpunk Day. That could be cool.
They that's true.
Can't release after Cyberpunk. PlayStation 5 has to come out before Cyberpunk, or they will be putting themselves in a terrible position. I think because I think a lot of people are going
a week after Cyberpunk is Black Friday, and they won't. And they won't, even though retailers aren't really doing Black Friday this year. I don't know.
Well, also, if you get the all-digital one, you'll have to buy it a week ahead to preload the game onto your console. So.
Mean, you joke about that, but I think that there is something to be said for the fact that these all-digital versions, while cheaper, will, or at least on the Xbox side, the digital version is cheaper. You will never be able to trade in a game again, and that is a big part of the economy for a lot of people when it comes to playing video games and enjoying video games and purchasing them. As they buy a game for $60, which is a lot of money for a lot of people, and they finish it and they sell it, or they give it to a friend and they buy a new game. And that's a big part of it. And I think removing that entirely, also with the Series S and the digital PS5, you are banking on your market having, a strong internet, which is obviously something that's getting better and better, but it's still not great all over the country. It's still not great all over the world. So just obviously things to consider. And it's interesting because the Series S is being positioned as sort of like a cheaper, lower tier, but it does require you to have great internet. It does require you to basically say goodbye to ever getting a single penny back on any of your game purchases ever again. I mean,
it's weird to think that you can go into GameStop and buy a PlayStation 5 all digital or a Series S, and they're literally selling you a device that's like putting them out of business.
Right?
Well, because they depend on your games.
They closed mine down, and rest in peace, Rockland Maine.
They closed the one down on Market Street here in San Francisco too. 2 out of 4 of the next gen console SKUs will essentially tell you to never go into a physical video game store ever again. That's kind of crazy. I mean, you can go in there and buy points cards, but this is, GameStop was a company that was already struggling going into this year. Their big push in the beginning of the year was, we're going to be community hangout places where people can come together and, 2020. No. So it's not.
I never thought about that. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
So not a great year. And if this was supposed to be their Hail Mary. And so if you look at I think they were probably holding down the fort until November, and they were planning on making a ton of money off of next gen consoles, and they will, and they still will.
Oh yeah.
But aside from controllers and points cards, if you buy a digital version of a system, you don't ever have to go to a GameStop ever again, and so that's interesting.
Excuse me, Funko Pop. Yeah, I was making the same joke.
Have you checked the garbage?
Oh man, I do not like Funko Pops, and I keep getting them as gifts. I keep getting them as gifts, and I'm like, guys, stop.
You need to poll your friends.
I know. I'm gonna poll my friends and be like, will you please never buy?
Real quick too, it was also announced today that EA Play, which is a paid service, is coming to Xbox All Access for free. So that rolls right into basically whatever you're paying there already. So that's pretty awesome because it adds 60 games to Game Pass, or to Game Pass is already 200 games. It also gives you early access to stuff. Mark, you know a little bit more about EA Play than I do, but I'm into this.
It makes it where Game Pass, essentially now has every Mass Effect game, every sports game, Dragon Age, Star Wars. They're all instantly in Game Pass now. Adding 60 games to the already 200 games library, like, that's insane. I can't believe everybody's going to start playing Anthem with me. We're all going to get in our Javelins and we're going to fly around. It's going to be a real good time. But no, it's really an insane deal, and PlayStation really needs to figure it out because Game Pass just keeps getting better and better and better. We are days away from Game Pass being on your phone. They need to figure out an answer to this because Game Pass is really incredible. It just keeps getting better.
Sony's answer is selling you individual $60 single player games and then selling millions and millions of them. It's like one of those things where they're like, it's working, so it's fine. We were just talking about this on NBC earlier. Like, we were like, I wish Mario 3D Collection was cheaper, and Nintendo's like, it's the best selling game at $60. Like, deal with it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. But no, I agree. I do wish that they revamped PS Now and gave that a shot in the arm. I think it needs a new name, a new logo, or something like that. It needs a whole rebrand.
I think it does need a new name, mainly because people still think PlayStation Now is only streaming, and it hasn't been only streaming in a long time. There's a lot of PS4 games on there that are really good that you can download. EA Play is also on PlayStation consoles, so it's like they really need to figure out their own deal. But I agree. I think they need to get rid of PlayStation Now. That's like the old Gaikai name. Like, they need to come up with something new. And then people will lose that streaming mind share, bad taste they have in their mouth about it.
Maybe re-announce it during their PlayStation 5 event where we actually learn things about the PlayStation 5.
Those don't exist.
Oh, Destin has tech specs prepped. That was a lot to say, but let's hear him. I'm sure this will be even more
prepped.
Okay, so. Okay, here's the sources. I can't read that because everything looks so tiny.
Our
here.
preview window is awful.
I can't see it.
So it has. Yeah, I see that. Okay, this is. Oh. We all look like old people looking at menus. Justin, can you read them? There we go. Okay, who wants to be a big kid and read these for everybody today?
What are we talking about here? Why are we looking at specs?
PS5 versus Series X/Series S. How many teraflops? Because that's what all the kids want to know. On the PS5, 10.28. Xbox Series X, 12 teraflops. And
Series S only has 4.
Only has 4 teraflops. That is what? That's 75% fewer flops. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
But look, they have the same CPU, which means the Series S has a better CPU than the PlayStation 5.
Whoa.
Wow. Who would have thunked it?
But
numbers.
The two consoles are there, no Spider-Man. So if you were Spider-Man under PS5.
Also, I would love I would love a big column on the right where it just says Nintendo, and then it just is a big picture of 3D All-Stars collection, and none of the rest of it makes any sense. And it doesn't matter.
I still think Nintendo might beat Microsoft.
Mario 64, you're gonna be able to play it anywhere. It's over.
I mean, here's the thing. We've been talking about Xbox for 30 minutes now. Xbox is really only popular in some regions of the world. Nintendo is still killing it in so many places. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see the Switch outsell the Series X or the Series S this fall.
It's funny you should mention that.
It depends on availability too, obviously.
I think that another move they're making with the $299 all digital Xboxes, they're trying to move into the Japanese market because internet speeds are just so much better there that, and it's going to be a lower cost console, and they've never been able to make any inroads. Excuse me while I knock over my pile of games over here. I'm gesticulating. Thank you. Yeah, they've had a hard time, and I think this might be try to get into other markets besides just the rabid U.S. Xbox fan base.
Until Switch comes out with that refresh next year, and then it's over. It's just
Breath of the Wild
over.
2 as a launch title.
Yeah.
Oof. 4K.
Yeah,
Speculation.
Exactly. We don't know anything.
Casey, you said you're thinking about getting the Series S. Where are you on PS5? Are you trying to get that day one? Are you waiting?
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I'm not sure. I know I said I'm thinking about getting the Series S this fall.
Mm-hmm.
That comes with a very big asterisk. I'm not 100% sure. I'm considering it when I didn't consider it at all before. For the PS5, I think it depends on my friends. And since I think only one other person is getting a PS5 at launch, I am less inclined to.
Mm-hmm.
But if I knew that you could party up and still play with people on the PS4 while playing on your PS5, that would encourage me to get it sooner rather than later.
Is that honestly, a Call of Duty segue?
Sure.
Like playing with your friends on the PS5. But I was just going to say, honestly, I'll probably end up with both of them because I need them to do my job. So
yes, that's
kind of important.
I mean, we're in an interesting spot here. I did want to talk about Dune very, very quickly, and then we can talk about Call of Duty. We got a first trailer for Dune today. It kicks ass. It's really good. I liked it a lot. This is the stunning new film from cinematic director Denis Villeneuve. A very difficult name to say, I know, because I did the VO for our Rewind Theater. And there's a lot of chunky names in this movie, so go easy on me. So yeah, this is basically a sort of a visionary reimagining of one of the most classic sci-fi books of all time, and one of the not greatest David Lynch movies ever made.
Oh man, I still love that movie so much.
It's fun as hell. Don't get me wrong. I dig this. I saw a lot of people talking today about how this looks like Star Wars, and it's important to point out Dune predates Star Wars. Star Wars took a ton of stuff from Dune, but it's essentially about warring factions who are fighting over drugs that come from worms. So that's nice.
I don't know anything about Dune. I've never seen the movie, whatever. And I was like, I'm going to watch this trailer. And I watched it, and it just kept getting better and better. Mm-hmm. I was like, whoa, Jason Momoa's in this? Zendaya's in this?
Yeah.
The dude from Guardians of the Galaxy's in this? I can't remember. It just kept getting better. And Oscar Isaac. And I was just like, I'm like really in after this. This is really good.
Yeah, totally. Casey, what are your thoughts on Dune?
So when I saw a bunch of people talking about Dune on Twitter, I thought they were talking about how it looked like outside of our windows, which we'll get to later. But I didn't. It's a new trailer, and I know Miranda and Sam have both recommended it to me with the caveat that the book is kind of slow and difficult to get into. Mm-hmm. But it's worth the story and the setting. So I'm interested in watching this. I think this looks cool. It looks right up my alley.
Yep.
I'm into it.
I think it looks real cool.
I'm totally with you guys. Blade Runner 2049 was one of my favorite movies of the last decade. And that movie had a very uphill battle to make its money back because no one really knew what Blade Runner was. And that's based on, I would say, like one of the most like well-regarded movies of all time.
Yeah.
So Dune, again, from the same director, is now coming out in a time where it's supposed to be launching in theaters this December. But I just don't really see that happening. I am so excited for this movie. I am the target demographic for this. I love big, crazy, weird sci-fi. I'm not going to a theater to see this. So this is a big, expensive movie with a huge cast. And I don't see it making its money back unless they figure out a way to let us watch it at home for $30 or something too. So yeah, that's Dune. We'll have tons more coverage on it. If anybody has any last thoughts on Dune, we can get to them now. Otherwise, I'm going to let Mark talk about Call of Duty, Cold War, Black Ops, Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Black Ops Cold War.
There we
go.
Pew.
Oh, I unplugged my headphones. Now nobody can. Well, actually, everybody can hear me. I just can't hear them anymore. I'm back. Can you
You're
hear
talking
me?
about Cod Blops Quar.
Yeah.
Quar,
COD.
Paul Blart.
M.
It's again, it's strange that one of the best-selling games of the year was like kind of the smallest news of the day, or maybe it's just the news that I cared about the least. I love Call of Duty, but man, what a day, what a week it's been. Anyways, yeah, Call of Duty is coming back, and to nobody's surprise. And the biggest takeaway I have from it is the battle royale from Modern Warfare. It's called Warzone. I play it every night. It's good fun. I've never won a game, but I have fun losing. And the biggest thing that they're having, sorry, Dustin. The biggest thing that they're doing is that they're making it where you don't lose any progression. It's all getting carried over to the new game. Same map, same characters, all that good stuff. And it's going to have cross-generational play. So if you play it on PS4 and your friend gets it on PS5, you guys are going to be able to play together. I play it on PC. Generations mean nothing. But I'm glad that my friends that are getting PS5s, I'll still be able to play with them. Not that I didn't think I wouldn't be able to. So yeah, Warzone, it's still going to be a thing, and that's cool. I miss Blackout. I liked it better, but it is what it is. The other new modes, there's just a bunch of other VIP escort modes. They look okay. It's just more Call of Duty stuff. All of the modes weirdly look like they're taking Battle Royale elements and making them competitive elements, like 40v40, whatever, doing missions and stuff. I don't know. It's fine. It's Call of Duty, and I want them to talk about zombies because whatever. I'll be honest, I don't play a lot of Call of Duty multiplayer unless it's Warzone.
And if you're interested in hearing more about hands-on impressions, our coworker Miranda Sanchez put up her preview this morning when she got to play on 5 maps and a couple of the different modes.
Yeah, I'm very envious.
She plays COD a lot, so and usually does our multiplayer reviews as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
Yeah, I played a lot of last year's, way more, and the year before that. So I guess I'm a COD guy now. So good for me. Back at it.
If you ever play Warzone, me, you, Destin,
oh hey man, I got it loaded up. I downloaded all 7,000 gigabytes of it.
Yeah, it's free. If you get the
I've
Series
never even
S,
opened it up. I've never even started a game. So
if you get the Series S, it's got a big enough hard drive to only fit Warzone on it. So that's what that machine's going to be for. Apparently. But yeah, Call of Duty, it's back, and it doesn't surprise anybody. I want to see zombies. Mm-hmm. That's my spiel.
It is probably the consistently best-selling thing that I have almost zero interest in every single year. But I don't hate it. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, it's a rehash or whatever. I'm not mad at it. I don't hate it. I don't really F with it. So, I'm happy for people that they're out there shooting up the boys and stuff and, getting in the water, doing all the good stuff, getting on the boat, getting on the horse sometimes.
They're definitely in there shooting up. That's yeah. There's a whole bunch of new vehicles. You could ride a bike.
Alligator.
Yeah, you can ride alligators. You can ride flamingos.
They have a dirigible that you can fill with helium and float around the battlefield.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. There's a gunner on the thing, and it's really cool. The game.
You throw sandbags down on other people's heads. But if you do too many, you float away. So it's good mechanic there.
It's
Call of Duty is cool. Multiplayer fun. Not gonna lie, when I was younger, I would judge the heck out of people who only played Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely do one of those like eye roll scoffs in my head, not in front of anyone ever, because that's like way too rude. But
Call of Duty.
I'm with you, Casey. I think it's weird if you only play Call of Duty. Like it's like if you only ate sandwiches. It's like sandwiches are really good, but you should check out some other foods. Like it's just a weird thing to only eat sandwiches all day.
Oh man,
you can eat sandwiches some other foods. I've heard good things.
It's all right there.
Speaking of tremendously popular things that I lost interest in a long time ago, the Walking Dead TV show is coming to an end.
All right.
That is one of the, I would say, most popular shows of all time. Still consistently incredibly popular. Definitely dipped in popularity a bit over the last few years. Specifically, there was a key moment where a bunch of fans jumped ship. It involved Negan hitting a bunch of people with a bat and some eyeballs popping out. Maybe you were there for that. I remember watching it and being like, why is everyone leaving? This is what I signed up for. Like it's in the title. But the show is concluding with a supersized season 11 with 24 episodes. over the course of 2 years. So it'll wrap in 2022. And
Jeez.
then Daryl and Carol, I can't believe I said that, who will, spoilers, I guess, survive whatever happens here over the next, 40-something episodes, will then get their own spin-off show set in the Walking Dead universe titled Tales of the Walking Dead, described as an episodic anthology with individual episodes or arcs or episodes focused on new or existing characters, backstories, or other standalone experiences. There's also the Rick Grimes movie. There's Fear the Walking Dead, and there is the Jordan Vogt Roberts Walking Dead high school thing miniseries that he's working on. So fret not, Walking Dead fans. Not only is this not ending for a long time, but it's also not ending.
No. Yeah, Walking Dead is one of those things where it's like I really love that show, and then yeah, it feels like I dropped off. And when I talk to people about where I dropped off, it seems like that's where they dropped off too. And I don't even remember when that was now.
I dropped off when Negan showed up.
Okay, so there we go. Negan showed up, and I don't know why. I just had no interest to keep watching. I didn't actively was bored by the show, but it's one of those shows that's just so massively popular that I just don't think it's ever going to go anywhere. It's like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is going to eventually get there where there's the show Game of Thrones, there's the show The Walking Dead, but those properties are just going to live forever in one form or another, and it's too much for me to keep up with.
Chat, should I tell them about Glenn or?
I remember when we first thought Glenn was dead and it was a fake out, and
Wait, Glenn dies?
Yeah, Glenn is pretty bad too.
How long ago was that? 5 years ago?
Years ago.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
Sorry,
I watched
Chat.
season 1 and it just didn't grab me. So.
Oh, it's okay.
It definitely gets better, but then I feel like it kind of gets worse.
I don't know. I did try to keep watching it, and there was a guy with a tiger, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's another Netflix show. That's not this one.
No. There's another one. There's an actual dude with a tiger in The Walking Dead.
Chat, should I tell her about the tiger guy?
He's also a king.
What else you got for us, Brian?
Casey, you've been playing a new Zelda game outside.
Outside, yes. It's
tell us about Casey DeFrida's Curse of the Blood Moon.
So this morning my alarm went off, and it was really dark inside. It was really strange. I mean, it was a little bit after 9. Usually there's daylight and I can see things, but I couldn't. And there was this orangey red tinge coming out from my windows. Oh. And I looked outside and it looked like this.
It's literally that's
like this.
Casey waking up in the morning. She looked outside and that's what it was.
I was extremely frightened and concerned, but then I saw that everyone in Northern California is experiencing this. So, hey, at least I'm not alone in everyone sinking into the depths of hell. Everything's fine.
There are 4 concurrent wildfires happening in the state of California right now. The entire West Coast is impacted in some capacity, engulfed by smoke or flames or ash. So yeah, stay safe out there. If you are listening or watching, climate change is real. And we should probably do something about it as soon as we're done playing all these video games. We don't know how to fix it. We're stupid. We just push buttons. Somebody's smart. Please save us. But yeah, no, things are going great. It's been yellow or orange or red or dark out all day. So that's cool. And it's nice to think it's night in the middle of the day.
It only lasts 5 minutes. What's going on?
Yeah, and it only makes the characters angry for 5 minutes, and I've been pissed off all day, so this sucks. Anyway, that was News, Games, and More. Thank you so much, Casey. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Seth. And thank you, Destin. And thank you to everybody in the audience for watching and for listening, hanging out with us. Hopefully, when we do the show again, we have some concrete information on PS5, and you have some next-gen consoles pre-ordered. But until then, we will speculate.
Oh, wait, Brian, hold on really quick.
What happened?
Quick. Before you sign us off, at 7 o'clock tonight, which is in 2 hours, we're going to be right here on Twitch. I'm going to stream some more some Mario 64 speedruns. We're going to try to get under 19 minutes.
Ooh, really?
Come back and watch. Yeah.
Wait, how many,
you do it, Mark?
19 minutes to beat the game?
Yeah, last week we did 1931. We're going for under 19. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling good. So
right.
we'll see. Depends on what we get for dinner.
Damn, man.
Get some of this,
Anyways,
this gamer gum they sent me.
You can end the show now.
Go watch Mark crush through Mario 64. That's awesome, man. I might pop into that. That sounds super fun. I love that game. I love watching people really good play at that game. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.
Bye.